The Bible literally calls you stupid if you do this. And I actually know a lot of people who are like this. And to be honest, I kind of stay away from people like this. And let me talk about it. Okay, in Proverbs 12:1, it says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction, it literally calls this person stupid. I looked it up in the Greek, the Septuagint, the Masoretic text in Hebrew, and it really is the same. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but then he who hates reproof is stupid. And you may be thinking, like, well, that's not me. Well, maybe so, right? But I could tell you there are a lot of people who, anytime they hear any kind of like negative feedback, like criticism type of feedback, they immediately get into defensive mode and they blame everyone else for their problems. They don't take any responsibility for the problem, and they just create this narrative that's not based off of reality. They create this narrative that makes them basically the innocent person, the victim, right? The victimhood mindset, which is a very toxic type of mindset, and they blame everyone else for the actual problem. And the crazy thing is there are people who go their whole adult lives like this. They're adults and they do this, and they can't hold any relationships. There's a lot of people, sometimes you may be able to hold the relationships, and usually those relationships are like either family who has to be in relationship with you, or they're people who like are just suffering quietly and enables you to think that this kind of lifestyle, this kind of communication and relationship is actually okay. And I'm telling you, a lot of these relationships end up breaking at one point. And if you're one of the friends who enables this person to go about life, never taking any responsibility for, their actions, you're not doing a good thing. And it actually says in Proverbs that you're actually, it talks about it's like a kiss if you end up reproving someone. It's actually love when you do that, but you're actually hating the person if you're actually withholding that constructive criticism from your friend. But anyway, about the person who just is a victim, they won't have a lot of friends and relationships because it's extremely hard to be around someone like that, someone who just won't take responsibility. And then it's just they can create so many things in their mind that are not based off of reality. They base it off of them just like twisting the story to make them feel like a victim. And I'm telling you, it's very, very toxic. The Bible literally calls this person stupid. And if you're this person, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm not the one who's saying it. The Bible's literally calling you stupid if you act like this, or this person stupid. And this is something that I've had to learn. I mean, listen, when I hear criticism, I get defensive. But I really, really have learned to, take a step back, take responsibility for what I can be responsible for. Because it's so hard to go around life with that victimhood mindset. I've seen a lot of this victimhood mindset when I was serving the homeless for over 10 years. They blame everybody else for their problems. They don't take responsibility, and it manifests. Like, it eventually leads to their circumstances being very, very dire, because when you can't take responsibility, you can't improve. You can't get better. It says whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. When you take feedback, even if it's wrong, okay? Sometimes it could be wrong feedback. But those not naturally, it's never natural. It's hard to take. But those who receive that feedback and use it not to fight it, but to get better in their lives, that really is where you can really grow as a person and become better. Now, I also believe that when you get the discipline, you want to get it from people who actually care, right? Because there are people who are just going to be haters for being haters. And their criticism is not based off of love. It's out of, hate and spite. And those people you can ignore. There's going to be a lot of those people. Those people you put off to the side and you just ignore. But there are people who genuinely love you, who want for you to grow, who want to give you feedback. And honestly, that's a good friend. Those who give you feedback, because honestly, it's not easy to give feedback. It's not easy to have that confrontation. But those who love you enough to give you that confrontation, listen, okay? Listen to what they're saying. Really try not to, create a narrative, and really just try to take from what you can, what they are actually saying. So this is my encouragement. I think this is a very powerful verse. I think there's so much gold in Proverbs. And I really think that this is something that we all have to learn. And again, this video may also be for people who enable others to live in this victimhood mindset, being super critical about everyone else, and they're just being like, yeah, you're right, they're wrong. Yeah, how can they? That's not necessarily the right thing. If they actually made a mistake, if your friend made the mistake or this family member made the mistake, you have to call them out on that. You don't have to be mean about it, but just be like, hey, do you think that is the right thing? Like, do you think that your actions were right? There's ways to do it. And so that's my encouragement today. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys on the next video.